Good afternoon. I'm Vera, the Victims Commissioner for England and Wales, and I'm very pleased to have been asked to join you today, but my sadness is that we're not all together on this probably the most important day in the Road Peace annual calendar, when we should get together to remember all those who have died in road crash incidents. It is so much better if we can all bow our heads and raise our voices together. Let's hope we can do that next year. Nonetheless, I was keen to be able to just say a few things to you as Victims Commissioner, just as I come to the end of my first year in this post. The first thing to make very clear is that I am your advocate, and anything you need and feel you don't get, you should come to us and see if we can't bring about policy change or law change. I know that those who suffered the death or even the serious injury, but mainly the death of a loved one in a road crash, frequently feel that they're not treated fully as victims of crime because there's some strange distorted view of what's actually happened. We have put into the Victims Code a plea that the victim of crime definition should be absolutely wide enough to ensure that people in your position are fully represented and have all of the rights that other victims have. That must follow, I think. So we intend to advocate on your behalf. And let me mention one particular thing that we've done this year, albeit it didn't bring much fruit. There is a scheme called the unduly lenient sentence scheme, which means that anybody who's aggrieved by a sentence of the court for a crime because they feel that it is unduly lenient, that's not just a little bit, but unduly lenient, they have 28 days in which to write to the Attorney General and ask him to review that case by sending it to the Court of Appeal and asking them to consider a higher sentence. Causing death by dangerous driving is already on the list of cases which can be dealt with by an unduly lenient sentence application, but causing death by careless driving is not. And it seems to me that that is a big, big oversight, because I can imagine, and indeed I don't have to imagine entirely because I had some conversations with merely a few people who suffered this, but their voices were powerful. I think they, as a group, are very much people who feel that the sentences for causing death by careless driving simply don't reflect or balance in any way the enormous loss that they have suffered, albeit at a lower level of blame. There is that extra dimension to add that a person has died. So we felt that that availability should be offered to people in that position, and we wrote to the Lord Chancellor and we wrote to the Attorney General, and we argued and advocated for causing death by careless driving to come into the unduly lenient sentence scheme. But I regret to say we weren't successful. They did look at the scheme, they broadened its range, but they excluded that. But that's not the end of it. We did say to them that they ought to review this scheme very much more frequently than they have been doing, and they will do, and we will advocate it yet again. I hope this year, or at the very least next, because it does seem to me that that is a deficit in the way people in your position are treated. You should have the opportunity to feel you've done your best for the lost one by driving, to ensure that the incident, the road crash, is represented properly in a sentence. So there is a victims law to be consulted on too in the coming year, probably just before Christmas, and we will consult with you amongst a lot of others to ensure that we put in everything that you need to be in the law. So we will carry on. As I say, we are your advocates. Please be in touch with us. As soon as it's possible, I will come out and meet with you face to face. I think all it remains for me to say this afternoon is to all of you who have lost a loved one in a road crash, I send you, albeit it will be little help to alleviate the pain you will be feeling, I send nonetheless all of my best wishes and my sympathy. Good afternoon.